I am a member of the last generation to have been taught manners. Sure, there are a few in following generations who have learned some courtesies, and there are a few in my generation who never learned any, or more than likely have forgotten them. But as a general observation, I have to say that it appears as though good manners have been relegated to history. Woe to me when I was a kid if I walked with a female down the sidewalk and I wasn't on the outside. I can remember wondering why it was so important that a car hit me, not her. And I never did get a straight answer when I asked. It was just something that was done. Asking, "Can I?" was always answered with, "You can," but the question is, "May you?" As in, you can go to the movies, but the question is, may you go? Or, you can have another piece of pie, but the question is, may you have one? I had to articulate the request properly, or it simply was ignored. And even when articulated properly, it was not a foregone conclusion that the response would be favorable. It was about a 50-50 proposition. Asking incorrectly, though, was a 100% guarantee of no response, or a negative one. Responsible adults back in the time of my childhood actually sometimes denied requests from children. Can you imagine that today? When I was a kid, the day after Christmas each year was a day set aside to write thank you notes to relatives from whom we had received presents. We had to sit at the kitchen table with paper and pencil until each thank you note was written and reviewed. It didn't matter how long it took to write the notes. I could see all of my new toys in the living room waiting for me as I dawdled over the wording of these notes. They didn't even have to be literary masterpieces. They just had to be written. Eventually it clicked with me. I only had to write a basic sentence or two, and thereafter just change the noun. Thank you for the truck. I really like it. Or, thank you for the train. I really like it. And of course, thank you for the shirt. I really like it. Even so, I was learning courtesy. The generation after me grew up as the gimme generation. Generally speaking, they have no concept of the words please or thank you or their intended purpose. It made no difference to them if they were told to write thank you notes. They knew their parents would never dream of insisting they do so. And they knew their parents would find an excuse why the notes weren't written. These lazy kids didn't even have to come up with excuses. It was the beginning of when children learned that they were in charge of the household. Now that generation is raising their own children. The young parents today, having no concept of courtesies themselves, don't even make the effort to teach manners. Where the gimme generation tried to pass on courtesies as they vaguely understood them without enforcing them, their children haven't the slightest idea of anything as foreign as considering another person or their feelings. Finally, I want to be real clear on one thing. I'm not talking about your children or your grandchildren. It's just everybody else's.